Hey, welcome to this week's episode of Forgiving the Girl Inside. Today we have a healing journey with Kara Johnson. She is going to share her story from frustration to balance. I bet that resonates with a lot of you out there. So if this is your first time to the channel, please hit the subscribe button, tap the bell to be notified. We come on weekly with stories from real women sharing their healing journey with all of you, so you don't want to miss an episode. And if you know someone that would love to see this particular episode, be sure to tag them, invite them to watch it. Kara is a mom of five, a registered nurse, and a Pinterest guru. So if you need some Pinterest tips, she's your girl to go to. She's also transitioning from her nursing job to being a entrepreneurial mom at home so she can enjoy her lovely family, and she's picked up some virtual assistant duties, and she just has a fascinating story. So welcome, Kara. How's it
Thank you.
going today?
It's going good.
Awesome. So
Got some
thank
fresh
you for
now.
being here with us.
Awesome.
So tell us some more about yourself.
Yeah, I guess so we have five kids. I said that you said that already. And number six is on the way. So there's a little secret.
Congratulations. Yay.
Thanks. And we live in Alaska, so we just moved here about a year and a half ago, and it was on a whim. So kind of just flying by the seat of our pants. Let's see if it works.
Now, why
And
Alaska?
well, my husband has a brother up here, and we have some church community up here, so that was kind of a draw for him. And then the hunting and the fishing and the Alaskan lifestyle, hiking and but yeah, for him it was hunting and fishing. He's a big outdoors guy, so I'm just along
Wow.
for the ride.
Well, how exciting. Is it really super cold there now, or?
Yeah, right now it's in the teens or low numbers. It's been a pretty good winter, I should say, compared to last winter, but it's
Yeah.
cold, just like Minnesota, where we
Yeah.
came from. So,
Same kind of climate. I'm in upstate New York, and we had a snowstorm yesterday, and today it's beautiful out. It's sunny, the roads are cleared, and it's like, okay, it's no big
oh
deal.
man, I want some
So,
sunshine.
oh, I know, sunshine makes such a difference in our day lives. So tell
hmm
us about so you're a registered nurse. Do you have a specialty with that, or?
Well, it's med surge. I've been a nurse for 5 years and going on six. This was I wanted to be an OB nurse, but I never actually got there. I had a couple opportunities, but then we moved up here. And so if I do pick up nursing again, it would be in that field. So that is what I would like to be in the future, is an OB nurse and
Nice.
working with moms and babies. Um, that's kind of my fun passion, is I love babies. So
They are precious. So tell us about this journey of being frustrated. What were you most frustrated with?
yeah, so when we moved here, I guess the biggest frustration was, finding new friends and finding new doctors and just the whole package that comes with moving to a new state and not really knowing anybody. Or, we had his brother, but that was it. Like, I didn't know anybody else. And then COVID hit, and then you have, okay, well, now we're going to be homeschooling. And so all the kids are at home, and I'm a new stay-at-home mom. Like, I've always worked or been in school. And so I just had a lot of frustrations around, trying to manage the household and trying to, homeschool, trying to keep up with the house, kids, life, everything all together. And it was just getting really overwhelming. And then we also had some other family issues that had popped up in that time frame as well, was like, well, maybe that's why we moved to Alaska. But anyways, that is kind of like the frustrations, was just, it was overwhelming, is being on my own and not knowing where to turn to for support. So
Yeah. So then so do you have any support now where you said you have a brother-in-law there?
yeah, and so he
And
does have
then,
a wife, and they have four kids, and she's been really good, I would say, with, reaching out at times. But, she's got a busy life too. So I found support there. And then I'd call my mom every day, and I'd just be like, that's what moms are for. But I guess too, then I just started reaching out to our church community and making connections there, and just, it is tough. It was very tough to, admit that you needed help or that you needed support, but it really helped a lot to reach out to the church and make new friends. So,
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's true. Like, so I'm a certified ULA life coach, and we talk about living a balanced life in the 7 key areas, and fitness, family, friends, faith, fun, field, your job. Those tend to like take back seat. When you're working full time, you have your family. The other categories kind of
mhm,
take back seat, and then you're not, you're frustrated, and you're unbalanced, but you don't know exactly where it is. So
yes.
pinpointing and reaching out for help is so important. It just kind of helps balance that and say, okay, I'm not alone. I'm not the only one who's in this position. So what's homeschooling like for you? What are the age range,
So
grade
we
range?
have a fifth grader, second grader in kindergarten, and then two younger ones. So it's been a challenge for sure. We're trying it
Yeah.
out for this year, and we'll see if we like it for next year. I'm not real sold on it at the moment. It just feels like a lot of overwhelming um, stuff at the moment. At least in Alaska, you can do unschooling, which is kind of what we've been doing.
What's
So
unschooling?
it's basically not schooling at all. No, you find their passions and you work with those. And then if you've ever heard of the Waldorf
Yeah.
homeschooling, it's really based on what they have a passion in. So like if they are into like airplanes, you would really focus on, like, okay, let's learn about airplanes and how does an airplane work, and all of those factors into flying and stuff like that. So that's what I'm kind of leaning towards. If they're really artsy, I've been pushing the art and music and stuff like that. Of course, doing your core subjects, but
Right.
um, more focusing on what their passions are. So it's kind of
I love
fun.
I love that. That's a
Yeah.
great way. I mean, like, well, back in the day, it was the 3 R's, and you had to learn that, and you were
Hmm.
set for life, right? And then you basically
Right.
you did things that you enjoyed doing, and now it seems like they changed the education system so much that, okay,
Yeah.
you have to do this, and what do I have to do that for? I remember being in school and saying, I don't need that. Why do I have to have
Mhm.
that? What am I ever going to use geometry for?
I
Nothing.
know.
I'm not going into a career that has that. So
Yep.
that should not be mandated. So,
No.
so what got you out of the frustration slump in
So what
living a
got me
balanced
out of
life?
the frustration slump was actually just taking a step back from everything. I quit building my business, which maybe wasn't such a good thing, but I needed it. And I had to just take a step back from everything and just look at like the big picture, like what needs the biggest focus right now. And, how can I best, work with that? Like, so when I stepped back, then it was probably a good couple months where I wasn't doing anything on social media, and I just focused on our family and it was during the holidays too. So it was probably a good time to take a step back anyway.
Hmm.
And I guess it was just like a big eye opener. Like I was just doing way too much,
Yeah,
trying to do everything, and you can't do everything. You cannot. So, um, yeah, it was a really good eye opener for sure.
yeah. So you said you took a step back from your job and focused on your family. So what about me time? Do you do anything to balance you so that you can pour into your family?
Yes, so that was another thing too, is I really opened my eyes to like what are my passions again. And so I actually started knitting.
Hmm.
I started just doing timeouts by myself. Like I would
Mhm.
find a babysitter. Like if I need a sitter and I need to get out of the house, because that was another thing. I felt stuck at home with the kids all the time and didn't really know who to have for a sitter, or I'm just hubby working all the time. Well, what am I supposed to do? He was out of town for like the last 6 months, so I
Oh,
was really stuck at home. So finding a babysitter and just, yeah, going to get groceries if that's what I needed. But definitely working on my passions myself, journaling again, finding myself, because that's definitely a big piece of this puzzle is, when you don't have your own cup filled, you can't fill everyone else's. So
exactly. Yeah. What do you, so with your husband away working all the time and then you're home with the kids, how do you manage their schedule and incorporate it with your own schedule?
So we definitely don't really have a schedule.
Okay.
We're very laid back at our house, but I had to make sure everyone's doing their part. So it was like, everybody has chores, so that's one thing, and before electronics, it's chores. And then basically just making sure that they're responsible for their own, clothing that they left on the floor, whatever, just
Mm-hmm.
keeping them responsible for um, the the actions that they took, because otherwise I'm the one trying to manage everything, and it's just like too much for one person.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I know I read the other day that somebody they had to get the house cleaned. And I think they had a family of seven altogether, two parents and five kids, I think it was. But they had to get the house cleaned because her husband was bringing home guests from work and her house was a mess. So she said, "What? I don't have time to cook and clean." So she told all the kids, I think her youngest was like 10, "Okay, we're each going to take a room." And the whole entire house was cleaned in 15 minutes. And
Right?
she walked around and she was like, "This is amazing." She's like, "Why didn't I not think of this before?" She goes, "Guess what we're doing once a week?" And so that's how she cleans her house now. And I'm like, yeah, I should have thought of that when my kids were growing up. Plus, they need that. I listened to a podcast once about making your bed, like why it's important to teach your children to make their bed first thing in the morning, and the discipline that it offers them. And they do. They need
Mhm.
that responsibility. They need that structure so that they can be. So that's awesome. I love that. It's a unstructured environment. They're still getting their chores. They're
Yep.
living. They're still doing their schoolwork, but they're working on their passions and knowing like
Mhm.
this is important. We need to have this done. So that's a really great way to bring balance in a non-traditional way because a lot of times people will think like on the color personality wheel, I'm red green. So there's charts and there's awards and there's this and there's time blocking and schedules. So to be more like laid back and say, yeah,
Yep.
as long as you get it done, you could take all day to do it. I don't care.
Yep. I
So I love
definitely had to
that.
lower some standards when I was feeling overwhelmed, but we definitely don't follow any sort of schedule. We're just very laissez-faire around here, and as long as they get it done, yep, that's exactly what matters. And sometimes it does take a little extra like prodding, or hey, if you don't do this, you get something to consequences. But
Right.
for the most part, we that's what works for us right now. And sometimes there could be a little more structure, but I don't know, consistency is another thing too. Is
Yeah.
if I'm not consistent, then the kids aren't either. And so I'm definitely working on my consistency around here.
Yeah. Well, I love it. And that's great because, the kids, they all have each other and, they can help
Hmm.
each other out too and help you out at the same time. So that's amazing.
Yeah.
So if you could give advice to a mom um, with young kids that's working full time, trying to do their thing, take care of their family and give balance, what would be the words of wisdom that you'd like to pass on?
There's two things I would say. First, find that time for yourself so you can fill up your own love cup. And then two is like delegate. Make sure you're delegating to your kids, especially the young ones. They learn quick and they need that structure as well. So like even my 2-year-old, he will pick up toys, or it doesn't matter the age. They need to feel included in the family life too. So definitely learn to delegate, because that can be a hard thing when you don't really know like what is their capabilities. Well, you can definitely start low and work your way up with the age limits. And yeah, I would say definitely learn to do that so you're not doing everything, because you have
Yeah,
only so many plates you can carry.
exactly. Don't want to be spinning too many plates. Well, that's awesome. And what's the best way for our viewers to get in touch with you if they want to learn about your Pinterest course, your VA services, or when you start up the business part of it, of your passion of whatever it is that you decide to do in the next 6 7 months, 8 months.
Yeah. So my website is themomnurse.com. So you can check that out. That's got my Pinterest course on there. I don't have VA services listed on there yet, as that's a new thing right now. But you can subscribe to either my blog or one of the freebies that I have on there, and then we can keep in touch that way. So
Yeah, and what's really cool about your website? Tell us about that cool thing that you have.
the I'm trying to think of what you're talking about.
Wasn't it the idea cloud or something like that?
Oh, yes. So for small children, I have the Idea Cloud, which is a set of cards that you can download and then print off, and then you can put them in a box. And then when your kids say like they're bored, because kids say they're bored all the time, right? Like they're always looking for something to do, and then they just end up on electronics or something like, I don't know. Your brain can't always think of something for the kids to do. So that's why I created the Idea Cloud, that they can draw a card out, and it has like things on there that I did as a kid. So like playing shadow games or, things like that, where they can take the initiative to be like, what can I do? And just pull it out and find something to do and keep themselves busy. So
Yeah,
it
I
is
love
really
that.
fun.
Yeah, I love that. So yeah, so if you're a viewer watching and you have small kids, or you're a grandparent, you're watching, you got grandkids, go over to Kara's website and grab that
Yeah.
Idea Cloud. It is really, really cool. So,
Yes, I
well,
love it.
thank
The
you.
kids love it. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much for sharing your journey with us. It was awesome to hear your story.
Yes.
And thank you for joining us. And again, if you know somebody that could use this, you want to share that Idea Cloud, be sure to tag them or share this video with them. Thanks for watching. Have an amazing day.